It's a very good support to have with Shadowfiend.
In a bit of a bind, you can always rotate him to the off lane, and we know Yoku can play a ridiculous Earthshaker if necessary.
Have they actually even played a support this
Yeah,
tournament?
I'm actually going to ask that. I don't think I remember seeing them playing Earthshaker support in the group stages. It's mostly just off lane, I remember.
Regardless, though, this is a really good Rubik pick from Virtus Pro. We were talking about how it would be a contested pick between Lila and Aloha Dance. Fissure, one of the best spell steals in the game. And in addition to that, Requiem also.
Right.
A very easy spell to steal. So what happens with Rubik is a lot of the times when you play against certain heroes, there are just some spells that are really key to steal, but some of them are very difficult to get. You know, an example would be Death Ward from Witch Doctor. He casts the Death Ward, but he can trigger the heal immediately after, and then you steal the heal, which is kind of useless in most cases. But with Shadowfiend, all of his cast animations are pretty long. So he winds up the Requiem, there's a sound cue, it's very clear visual, and his follow-up, would he want to cast Raise afterwards, you have like a good half second at least to probably get that spell steal in. And Rubik channeling the Requiem is a little more subtle. You don't see it so easily in the fight, and you maybe don't expect it to come out. And it has a huge impact because not only does it deal damage and slow, but again, the minus damage from Requiem, often an overlooked aspect of this spell that is absolutely crucial in this team fight meta.
Yeah, that's something you guys have been pointing out every time that we get to see a Shadowfiend so far here at TI. The Dazzle eventually does get banned, and Virtus Pro were actually pretty quick about their second phase bans. They seem very clear on how they came into this. They said, game one, this is our game plan, we're going to stick with it. Lots of targeting to what feels like resolution with the Storm and Razor ban. The side of Virtus Pro, I'm curious what they're going to get to potentially go to that mid lane. Viper, maybe, if they need to get a lane dominator. The other options have already been banned out. TA's gone. Razor's gone. They already grabbed Lina on the side of Empire.
I'm just still thinking about that Tusk, whether they're going to ignore it entirely or will grab it. And for Empire, this being an offlane shaker, Lina could easily just be one of the two supports, and they could still be aiming for their Dragon Knight. And by picking the Lina, they remove one of the good counter picks in mid that Virtus Pro could have actually given G to beat Resolution. With Queen of Pain also being banned and G's Shadowfiend picked, it seems like they're really targeting him. And the TA banned, and the Extract banned, and the Storm, and the Razor. Okay, so I feel like we've kind of overlooked that. They are targeting G super hard, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like both sides tried to start the targeting, but at the end,
they
Empire
target
came out
each
on
other's
top.
mids, actually.
Yeah, but Empire came out on top because they got to secure the SF and then the Lina. So I think that's what's throwing VP off a little bit, maybe. I don't know if they were expecting this Lina pick this early, hoping to secure it for themselves, perhaps.
They're definitely taking their time here.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I mean, it's very hard to pick at this junction because G has very little options, and the other options that he has isn't really that good in this game. And they're going to go for the offlane position first for Phobos with the Spirit Breaker.
They have ran it as a 4 position before, though. So
okay,
non-concrete, but yes, more than likely the Phobos special.
So
this was a very quick
it'll be a Shadow Demon plus Lina. Shadow Demon plus Lina is their support duo, so they already show that the Earthshaker is going to be offlane on Yoki. And Virtus Pro would round the draft up with a Tusk, so they have the potential of the dual lane that we talk about a lot, Spirit Breaker plus Tusk, to pressure the opponent's carry. That could be really potent, so you'll see what Empire chooses to go for as their safe lane carry.
I feel like this metagame rarely has a draft without one defensive support. It just seems like every single team really values having that extra save, whether it be Snowball, Disruption, Fissure, Shallow Grave, the absolutely biggest one of this tournament, even the Living Armor. We've seen a couple of Treant picks.
Cold Embrace.
Cold Embrace from Wyvern.
That's true.
Like, there's so much emphasis on that, and it makes for a very different type of game, and that's why teams, I think, also like to pick that tanky frontliner, because it's not very difficult to land those defensive cooldowns on a hero that can tank up first. Like, you get the extra reaction time, and you actually get to put pressure and force the opponent to engage into a fight they don't want. And if you look at VP's lineup, though, they do have a lot of single target damage. So if they burst really fast, the Shadow Demon might actually not have time to react in this game.
Right. I was just smiling because we were seeing that Axe Band come out from VP. They want to start the game off on a safe
Centaur?
foot.
I'm thinking about Centaur here. Maybe against Spirit Breaker and the Snowball. Could be a good idea.
Yeah, good to get away.
They have a lot of... I mean, it gives Rubik another spell to steal.
That would make it a core shaker, or a support shaker, though, which I doubt they're going to do.
I
think their last pick
That's
is
like
for...
a big shuffle then.
Oh, were you saying for
Safe lane
Virtus?
chat.
I'm actually talking about Empire.
Yeah, because for
Correct.
Empire, I think we still need Silence Hero, right?
Unless it's a mid lane Lina, safe lane
safe
Shadow.
lane
Yeah,
Centaur.
yeah. I mean safe lane.
Safe lane
Centaur.
Centaur, yeah, okay.
But
Sorry.
there
it is.
Centaur.
Oh!
That's not. They have gyro and silencer. Okay.
This might be...
Is that a mid lane
Yeah,
gyro?
it's a mid- no,
no,
it's a
mid
mid lane
silencer
silencer.
and then safe lane
Oh,
gyro.
interesting.
G's gonna play it though. Usually Illidan.
Right. I mean, that's kind of Illidan's special right there for
Yeah,
VP.
you've seen it enough.
You talk about the
I'm
you
curious
talk about
what
the
your-
defensive supports, but with Silencer it's going to be
Yeah.
difficult.
I'm curious, so how do you view the Silencer versus Shadowfiend matchup? Because I'm actually not completely sure who to expect should win this lane.
Well, Spirit Breaker is
I think
quite the
Spirit
headache.
Breaker's going to win
Well,
this.
it's quite the headache for Shadowfiend. He's
Yeah, I
probably
think
going to
having
be
the
there a
Spirit
lot.
Breaker there, I think
Yeah.
Silencer would probably have the edge because Shadowfiend has to play. But then again, it's a Radiant Shadowfiend, so he can catch up if things don't go right for him.
Luckily, Silencer does have
Alright.
the pure damage, so that'll help.
All right, well, a bit of a twist there at the very end, but we're kicking off a best of three, ladies and gentlemen. Super important match between Virtus Pro and Team Empire fighting for that upper bracket spot.
So Shadow Poison on Shadow Demon. Lina obviously has a pretty good amount of spam too, if you want to try to stack it up a little bit for resolution. I like the Ember pick because
Was
it's
it a
very
first pick
elusive,
for Shadow
and he has a
Demon?
lot
I
of
think I've
ways
seen
of getting
that
out of
hero.
Spirit Breaker ganks.
Oh,
And
with the Ice
Yoku-
Shards indeed, trapping out Yoku. Yoku did come up the lane trying to get some vision out, but he might pay for it with his life. FNG trying to get round here with the telekinesis. Couldn't go down the quick way because the Ice Shards were actually blocking himself up. But Lil talking about the blocks, looking for the body blocks, and Yoku's going to get bodied. First blood there for Virtus Pro.
That's a plus
Catching
two.
out the Yoku, and indeed, one of the quickest plus twos I think we've seen in a long time here for Silencer.
Well, hopefully that's not too indicative of how the game goes for Empire, because if you keep getting picked off like that, you got to respect the Gyrocopter. That hero at low level, especially partnered with a Rubik, maybe one of the best supports to put with him just because of how far out of position you actually can be in a very, very short amount of time. So Horn's going to sound. VP off to a very good start, trying to get their revenge after Empire 2 them here in the group stages here at TI5. Looks like both teams are going to be trading bounty runes. Pretty standard stuff. Although I think G... No, they hit level 2 at the same time, actually, based on 2 melee creeps. So this matchup mid, it's going to be 2 versus 2, basically Tusk, Silencer, and then the Shadow Demon and the Shadow Fiend. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for Resolution to get his souls going. And then bottom lane, we're going to have off lane Spirit Breaker versus the Lina and the Ember. Now, Spirit Breaker can actually die to this combination, even as tanky of a hero as he is, because there's 2 ways to stop charge. So Phobos is going to have to be very aware of that as this lane plays out.
I'm sure Phobos will be well on top of it. And mid lane, going in on to always want to fly with the Ice Shards. Actually blocked up in the damage here from these glaives. I mean, one more will do
Is
the
he
job.
dead?
He's going to get it, and that's going to be a +2 for G now onto 4.
Oh my God, Resolution's gonna
trying
die
to
too.
turn onto Lil. Oh, if he dies
Oh,
to
the
this is
damage.
disastrous. He pops the salve as well. Doesn't save him. It's a double kill for G. He's on +6 before the 1 minute mark.
He got Shadow Poison level 1. He's... Okay, so he must have been thinking that he just wanted to use that to stack and that the kill potential from VP wasn't good enough to warrant skilling Disruption. He was wrong, needless to say. And now G,
Damn, look at this
a
glaive damage.
minute in, he hits for 72 damage, and he's got 3 kills at 1 minute. Like, G is already known as one of the best mids pretty much in the CIS region, and you're going to give him 3 kills, including First Blood?
I mean, Resolution as well. That is down to his last shared tango. Always want to fly. He's got a few more to give him, but it's going to be on cooldown. And what a start here for G. One of the best starts that he could have hoped for. I mean, other lanes as well. How's it going for the side of VP? Well, DK Phobos, he's found himself a few CS now, just trying to trade blows here with a low hard dance. Has got a charge, but yeah, he's not going to be able to get it off. There was Silent in the neighborhood with those searing chains waiting and available. But yeah, 3 for 0. Always want to fly able to grab himself that invis. Not really going to be able to do too much with it, though, as he has still yet to hit level 2 and grab himself the disruption. Yoke on the off lane, level 2. Illidan's farm, 9 for 3. Pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much bang on here with Silence as well. So it is just this mid lane in which we're seeing Empire effectively get crushed.
Well, fortunately for Resolution, Shadow Fiend is amazing at recovery. So even if the early laning phase goes extremely bad, which I think it's fair to say it is right now, you can still always count on the fact that with a couple of jungle stacks and a little bit of AFK farming, you'll be able to bring yourself right back into the game. So always want to fly, waiting for that level 2. He's still got the Invis rune, so he's got Disruption available. They might be able to turn this on G, but Resolution, he only has enough mana for 2 raises right now.
Always want to fly. He's just going to back up, realizes that the opportunity isn't going to be there for him. And G still is farm. 11 for 1, 13 for 1. Resolution looking good, but now with the snowball, Resolution's in a lot of trouble. Where's the disruption? Oh, Yoku's going to be there.
Wow, that was
got the Fisher available, and they don't die for it. He's going to be fine. Okay.
It's a double uphill miss. Pretty unlucky from G, but I'm not sure even if he hit both of those attacks that they would have had the damage to kill.
Resolution still down to that last tango, and he's still a few hundred away from picking up the bottle. So in a bit of a precarious position at this moment. Wraparound coming in from Lil. Moving into the Radiant jungle. He's going to find Joku here, but he's going to need to be careful. There is a Shadow Demon here as well. Lil might have overstepped the mark here with the disruption setup. Yoku, he's got enough for the 1-2, but they wait for it. Very nicely done. Yoku knew the snowball was going to come out immediately, and now holding back their spells. They'll let all loose now, and they will be able to find that Lil kill there. SD crediting himself with the kill.
Now finally getting themselves on the board. Definitely nice, kicking Lil out of their side. But this middle matchup, man, G's level 5. Resolution is barely short of level 4 at this point. And the matchup never really gets any better for the Shadow Fiend. Like, you're always just going to continually get harassed as you show yourself in lane. So he really is relying on rune control, Bottle Crow, and the ability for his supports to stack for him. And right now, they got the dual stack going on. He really needs to hit level 5, I think, before he can start doing stacks if he wants to try to do them at least with some efficiency. His level 2 raise only does 175 damage. It's not really that good. But he's really hurting right now.
G just coming in with those pure damage slaps. Bottom lane trying to go in onto Phobos here. They will hit the Light Strike Array and the Dragon's Slave. He's already used the charge here. Silent just going to look to chase this down, and they will be able to find the kill onto Phobos there. So the second kill on the board now for Empire. Silent claiming that one, and he is top of the CS. Still just level with Illidan at the moment. Very, very close between these two carries. In the mid lane, FNG. I can't quite believe it. He gets himself out with a